Hey everybody, this is Costa Kapohanasis of Costa 10-Minute Oil Change. We're doing a brief video on the anatomy of an oil filter in honor of the return of #Filter Friday, where we cut open filters that I pull from my stores and take a look at the components of them and do a little review on them. So without further ado, let's get into the video on what makes up an oil filter. So in honor of getting back into #Filter Friday, I wanted to go into the anatomy of an oil filter. This is kind of like a oil filter 101 video, just to talk about the components of an oil filter, talk about the manufacturers, talk about the brands, how sometimes the brands use the same manufacturer, and what all the components of an oil filter are and what makes a good one versus a poor one. So today what I have here is a Motorcraft filter. This is what we're going to use. I already had it cut open, so I'm going to use this Motorcraft filter. I have my oil filter cutter, which allows me to cut into the oil filter and take it apart and look at the components. This is by Longacre Racing Products. I'm going to have a link to the product in the description. I think you can get it on Amazon. And without any further ado, we can get into the video. So this Motorcraft is an FL910S. It's off of I believe a 2000. We pulled it off a 2006 Ford Escape at our Harrisburg location, and I brought it home with me to cut open. Motorcraft is the brand most associated with Ford. When we do #Filter Friday or just Filter Friday, I'm going to go into the history of the product, the brand, a little bit before I dive into the filter. But for the purposes of the anatomy of an oil filter video, we're just going to talk about the filter right now. So the first component of the oil filter, if you start from the bottom to the top, is going to be the gasket. The gasket's made of a rubber substance. It can be a multitude of different types of material. In 2018, the manufacturers should all be up to a standard where the gasket stays on. The gasket is still on this filter. Now, anybody that does oil changes frequently knows that a double gasket is the easiest way to blow an engine. It's the easiest mistake to make when doing an oil change. Even an easier mistake to make than forgetting to tighten the drain plug, because even with a loose drain plug, for the most part, you can catch it before any real damage is done. With a double gasket, if you're driving down the road and that gasket has another gasket on it and it's not caught at the time, if you don't pressure test it when you do the oil change and the oil doesn't spray everywhere until you get up to 3,000 RPM, that can be highly harmful to your engine. So this is a steel base plate on this Motorcraft filter. We move into the filter. Usually there is a drain back valve. This filter has a drain back valve. It's some kind of silicon based. It's in good shape. This is the original Fomoco Ford Motor Company anti-drain back valve. Now you get into the actual filter, sometimes the base plates, the end caps actually come off of the filter. On this Motorcraft filter, the end caps are actually sealed to the filter, so we can't get to the center tube, which is fine. But this is actually a very high quality setup for this filter. The pleats are in really good shape. Now, I believe Motorcraft does outsource its filters to a third party to manufacture them and then just gives them the OEM specs. And that's common in the filter industry. Now, Ford is going to put their logo on it, but it's not being made by Ford employees. The pleats in this are in great shape. This filter looks like it could continue to clean oil pretty well. These filters are designed to hold up to 10 grams of contaminants, and is good with both regular synthetic blend and full synthetic oil. I'm not seeing anywhere in the pleating at all. It's definitely a paper-based pleating. It's not a synthetic-based filter, so I would say that the filters shouldn't be gone for more than the 5,000 miles before it stops effectively cleaning the oil. The end cap has a bypass valve in it. That's common for this FL910S filter, and that's common in a lot of the other filters as well. They're not always in an oil filter, but they can be a part of the end cap. The steel housing on this is pretty standard. It's got some pleats to make easier for taking the filter off. Not all oil filters are going to have these indentations in the filter to make it easier, but this one does. Motorcraft does not have a cross-reference on here, so if you did need to find the Fram version or the Mobil 1 version or whatever brand you're trying to get, it won't be on here. You will have to use an outside guide. This filter is in pretty good shape. I didn't get the sticker off of the car we took it from, so I don't know how many miles they drove, but it seems like it has just the normal wear and tear. And the Ford Motorcraft filter is obviously a quality enough filter for it to roll off the manufacturer's lot with it in it. So that being said, that is the anatomy of the oil filter. This is the main components of what makes up an oil filter, and we will get into the differences between the different brands and manufacturers in the next video. If you like my videos, please feel free to subscribe. I'll be putting out videos about the oil change business, and hey buddy, how you doing? And and every Friday we will be doing reviews of the oil filters. I got stuff on my hands. If you guys like the videos that I'm putting out on entrepreneurship, my oil change business, or any of the videos I'm putting out, feel free to subscribe and make sure you hit that bell.